everyone, I'm Ferdinand the Carpet Stacker, and welcome to the review to Crow's Overkill. Now, this is a game about I think over a century-year-old Japanese poem about crows, and you're trying to, I guess, avoid the crow's call, or else you'll die at the end. So yeah, very strange theme, but it's a card game about survival. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. And before we move on, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on that bell notification button to stay up to date with our videos. Crow's Overkill is a game of survival and to be the last player to be in the game. The way to get out of the game is by making the birds cry. That's right, making the birds cry. There's a card that tells what time it is. If you have a number of bird cards in front of you that is equal or greater what the card tells you, then you're out of the game. In the beginning of the game, players will get 3 bird cards to start. Players don't want bird cards and will need to play shamisen cards to get rid of them and even move them in front of other players. On every turn, the current player will always draw 3 more bird cards and add it in front of them. Some bird card counts as 1, 2, or even 3 birds. Bats are not birds, but they must be gotten rid of before removing any other birds in front of you. If a player draws a bell card, it advances the time so the number of birds required to be out will change. In addition, the player will draw 2 shamisen cards to help them move, discard, and even drawing new birds. At the end of their turn, if the player has a number of birds that is equal or greater than the number required on the current time card, that player is out of the game. Players keep taking turns until there is 1 player and they become the winner of the game. Now, briefly going through the components of the game, the game is just primarily cards, and I think the cards are in good quality. I do like they're in linen finish, so you can shuffle them very well, and I think they fan out nicely, and they also go around the board even nicer. So good for that. The game only fits in these kind of boxes. Emperor S4 have these very standard boxes of their games. I don't really mind these kind of boxes because as long as they're kind of uniform with the rest of the games, I don't mind if there's a little bit more room than they can actually put in here. Room that is in the box already. So I really don't mind that as long as that the games boxes are uniform with their other games. So essentially, Crow's Overkill is going to be a take that game. The heart of the game is just using all those shamisen cards, and those birds just keep coming in. You're trying to push them. I do like the game just builds up until you have to keep pushing birds off to another person. Hopefully, you don't get stuck a bunch of birds before your time is up. So I think that's kind of cool, and the game does pushes itself, so it does end and does immediately actually have a winner of the game. The game only takes a very short time to play, like 10 to 15 minutes, so you probably would play at least 2 to 3 rounds of this game, and it's just basically, and your turns don't take very long. You just draw 2 cards. You want to use them, you use them. You draw birds and see if something bad happens to you, and that's very, very much it. So it's just very streamlined. Just go for it, and again, it builds up so that the game will eventually end by itself. And I do like about the shamisen cards is that you get to keep him, or you don't have to use them at all, as I mentioned before. So you draw 2 cards, you don't have to exactly use them. You can use them to just, push off birds a little bit, but you can save them at the right moment so that it will eventually have you put birds on your opponent. And I guess that's the main strategy of the game, is just trying to push off as many birds you can and trying to survive before the other players do. Of course, with a game like this, you can get ganged up on with the other players, especially a 3 or 4 player game. They can just push birds, and eventually it's your turn. You're not going to have enough cards to play with. So, oh well, you're gone and out of the game. For games like this, I don't know why, but it stops at 4 players. It seems like it can go up to more players for how light the game is, and it's every nature. It feels like more of a party game because it is a take that game. It's kind of related to that, at least for me. But for Crow's Overkill, I think that it could have used maybe a 5th or even a 6th player in that game. So, on my final thoughts about this game, Overkill, I thought it was a fun game, and that it has a very, very strange theme. I mean, even though it is a very take-that game, the game that has a lot of cards that you just use against other people, but I do like it that it happens very quick, and the game does build up in a way that it kind of like forces the end, and I do like about that in take-that games.
This video has been brought to you by our sponsors on Patreon. Thanks for becoming a stacker and helping us keep this channel going. Visit our Patreon page to learn how you can too become a stacker. And thank you for watching. Come follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and check out our website, thecardboardstacker.com. I'm Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker, reminding you to keep on stacking games.